Des Harris. I'm from Sydney, Australia. Fairly experienced motorbike rider. I've had Triumphs and Harley Davidsons before. I was in Goa a couple of years ago in India and took a Royal Enfield for a spin and thought, I've got to do more of that. I love Royal Enfields. So this time I'm on a 3-week journey. I've been to the UK, been to France. I've just got one backpack. It's last me 3 weeks. I've come here to Sri Lanka. I found these guys through TripAdvisor and on the internet, and all the reviews are so positive. They look after you so well. Everything is absolutely included, so I thought I'm going to give it a try. Arrived yesterday, 87% humidity, 29-30 degrees heat. Tough night, but today the humidity's turned into a little bit of rain, and I don't care. They got rain jackets, they're looking after me. I'm really looking forward to the first spin on the bike today. Could have taken it for a test ride yesterday, but I'm confident enough, so I have no idea what to expect. I've seen some of the videos, some of the Facebook things and photographs. I had a great demo on the map where we're going. I'm doing the 7th Heaven tour. A couple little changes, or one little change in it. When I get back from that, I'll fill you in and let you know how it goes. I feel totally confident heading out there today, even with a little bit of rain.
Hey, this is Des again from Sydney in Australia. I'm just back after doing the 7 Heavens ride on a Royal Enfield around Sri Lanka. The guys here have asked me to give you a little rundown of my experience over the last 7 days, and I'm delighted to, because I'll tell you now, it was phenomenal. It was incredible. Really loved it. What I'll do is I'll just break it down into 3 sections and just talk about Sri Lanka as a destination, then what it's like from a motorbike riding experience for riders, and then about using this particular company over maybe somebody else. So, Sri Lanka, formerly Ceylon, home of Lipton. Maybe not everybody's cup of tea. Sorry, had to do that. Everybody would hate me for that, but I'm a dad and I do dad jokes. Look, I embrace the culture of this part of Asia. I've traveled and holidayed through India a few times, through Nepal, through Malaysia and Indonesia. So Sri Lanka is naturally on my list. I embrace it and love it. I love the philosophy and the ethos of the people here. They're always friendly and so nice and inviting and welcoming. I love the cuisine. I love spicy and aromatic food. If you don't, you can get around that here, but I've always liked going with that. The culture here has been absolutely amazing. The ride has been like a cacophony of noise, of smells, of colours. It's been a visual smorgasbord of imagery every time you go around the corner. From a cultural point of view, I have been in heritage listed cave temples. I've climbed 1,250 steps up and then back down again to a king's palace on the top of Sigiriya. It's absolutely amazing, and the panorama view up there is phenomenal. We have been and done village cultural tours to see how people live in a traditional village. Been to the Tooth Temple in Kandy, where apparently, you can't see it, so I didn't see it, one of Buddha's teeth is housed there. Been to Sri Lankan traditional dance and entertainment night, which was absolutely fantastic. Gone through the Horton Plains, which is like a national park full of wildlife. Seen wild elephants. Well, only one this time around. What else did we see? Oh yeah, the tea plantations. Absolutely fantastic. 2,000 meters high, seeing the tea growing all over the place. Getting a tour of a tea factory and getting to taste some special silver tip white tea was absolutely fantastic. So from the point of view of a destination, I loved it. It's been absolutely fantastic. From the bike rider's point of view, well, I feel like rebranding this as a 7-day advanced rider and hazard avoidance course, which I passed because I'm here and I'm alive and the bike's all in one piece. May have been a couple of close calls there, but seriously, the riding around Sri Lanka has been fantastic. Now, I'm not an off-road motorcyclist, so I opted for the Royal Enfield. I like classic bikes. I've had Harley Davidsons and Triumphs, they suit me a little bit better. So I didn't take the option of an off-road tour, and they do those here as well. I took mostly the seal road tour, so it's probably 95% seal roads on the Royal Enfield as well. We probably did get some gravelly roads, even gravelly hairpin roads, and unsealed, and some mud and things. But it was all super exciting. Getting stuck in traffic and playing cat and mouse and weaving through traffic, things that are probably illegal here, but they'll be illegal in your own country, or in my country they are, so you never get to do that. And it was a bit naughty, but we do it anyway, and it's fun. It's great getting stuck behind the Tata trucks or the Lanka, Ashok, Leyland buses. That's a sign you're going to see an awful lot of. You'll get very used to seeing that. From a bike rider's point of view, I loved the travelling. It's been absolutely fantastic. If you do go with the Royal Enfield, look, it suits me really well. I'm 5'6.5", 168 centimetres, and it's suited my frame beautifully. These are incredible bikes. They're very giving and forgiving bikes. They've taken every different type of terrain. That's been a soft but tight suspension, if you can get around that. The seat is super comfortable. And a quirk to these, they are quite torquey. So it's something that you may have to get used to. It took me an hour to settle into this bike, no more than that. They're so nice and friendly. I'll give you a couple of generic rider tips. First of all, when you're on the plane coming here, start doing this. Exercise your thumb, because that's your horn thumb. You're going to use this more than you use a gear change, okay? So you'll always be doing that. It's the same in most Asian countries. You blip the horn to let them know you're coming. So if there is a secret code from 1 blip, 2 blips, there was even 3 blips at one stage, oh, there's 2 now. Or even a long horn sound, I don't know if there is a code to that. I just did what Coley, my group tour guide, did, and everybody seemed to know. I think it happens a little bit by magic. Indicators, right. I forgot mine because my thumb was always on the horn, so I hardly used my indicators. But when other people are using their indicators, you should neither trust, ignore, or rely on those indicators. So when you're stuck behind a 125cc tuk-tuk for 800 meters and they've got their right-hand indicator flashing, don't think that they're not going to pull across in front of you, because they probably will at some stage or another. From the point of view of overtaking and torque on these bikes, I found them really quite torquey. So this is characteristic to the Royal Enfield now. Your experience may be a little bit different, but I use that to my advantage a number of times. When you're coming across, when you're coming to overtake, because these guys really only reach their peak at a fairly high rev range. I'd say it's about 5,000 to 8,000 revs. There's no tacho on these. If you are about to fill a gap and try and get around that bus as quickly as you can, and you're in a mid-rev range, definitely drop down and power down and open up, because you'll need that. On the other hand, because they are torquey, when you come to hairpin bends, I've seen more hairpins and switchbacks in 7 days than I've gone around in my lifetime, I think. When you are going around those, traditionally on one of my other bikes, I would tend to drop down into second gear, drive around the corner and power out. With these things, and with what I encountered on the hairpin turns here, you may be met with a couple of surprises. You could be halfway around the bend and there will be gravel, or some grain off the back of a truck, or a pothole, or a sleeping dog. So you may have to make a very quick maneuver halfway around a hairpin bend. If you're doing that on a very high rev range in first or second to get around it, you're going to end up sliding out and you'll be over. Or if you're 1,000 meters up in the air, as I was a few times, you'll be over and out. So better still, leave it in third, leave it in the medium rev range, and you can actually torque your way around and power through that corner on that particular gear. That's a characteristic of these bikes, and I loved it. I'll say, give it a little love, you'll get twice as much love back again. Now, as far as using this particular company goes, I did a little bit of homework beforehand, read a lot of reviews. It's a 100% recommendation from my point of view. It's Ceylon Adventure Tours, Sri Lanka Royal Enfield Tours, Ceylon Royal Enfield Tours. Okay, they have a few different monikers. That's just to get around search engines. But if you're looking at this, you've already found them. From the very first point of contact I had with Andrew, absolute gentleman, absolutely perfect with all the administration. All the communication was super efficient. Told me everything I needed to know. If I forgot anything, he'd remind me about it. Made everything happen, got everything organized. Now, from a tour, I chose a 1 week long tour. It's August, the last week in August, and there were no group tours going around. So yeah, I probably played a little bit over the odds to get an individual tour going through here. I am more than happy to do that. I'm 54 and I've done plenty of self-catered holidays and self-arranged holidays. I'm more than happy to pay a little bit extra money to have somebody take care of everything. And I am so glad I did. It takes a very particular type of personality to be able to look after a group of people, or even more harder, I think, one individual for 7 days. Collie, the tour guide, is that person. He was a perfect gentleman the whole time, perfectly respectful. I was trying to get him to call me Des instead of calling me Sir, but he wouldn't, which was great, and that was wonderful. But this guy knows everything. I'm sure it's a whole teamwork here because they have people that look after the bikes and maintain the bikes and repair the bikes. But it all comes down to the person you're spending 7 days with. He had the right balance of politeness and professionalism and leaving me alone to give me a bit of personal space and taking care of me. But as far as a knowledge base of what to see, when to see it, where to go, these guys have everything arranged down pat. I'm pretty sure we got VIP parking at some of the cultural sites because there were people walking for miles ahead and I'm just riding by them and parking the bike right up close to it. I got a front row seat at the Sri Lankan dance night. I'm pretty sure in some of my hotel rooms I got the bridal suite on my own because the views were the best you could. I was overwhelmed. I spent most of my time taking pictures and sending them to my friends. So if anything even went sideways on any part of the tour, Collie's the type of guy that knows how to make something happen and get it fixed. And because these guys do tours all the time and go to these places, they're looked after. They're welcomed with smiles and, you know, there's a few tips going around, but you're always looked after. I got to taste some silver tip tea at the tea plantation, which was absolutely fantastic. Not everybody gets that. It was really, really good. So, for a quick summary, Sri Lanka as a destination, buy a ticket, come here. They're waiting for you, they want you. Tourism's the industry. From a motorcycle rider's point of view, oh, man, I have just tripled my skill base. My reflexes and reaction times and riding skills have just increased so much. I have loved every single minute of it. And from a company point of view, these guys, if you don't buy a ticket or book through them, you're stupid, you're crazy. Get online now and do it. Thanks for watching.